From Lalate News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings Lalate.
It's a big early morning on Mornings Lalate as we start a big Saturday morning with incredible great news about your forced stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people in the biggest recon we've ever seen in the history of this channel. I'll go over the incredible great news about this recon and what's the next step. Then we cut to the two-path process, the bipartisan, the roads and bridges, and your recon, those checks. We'll go over why two fractions, one for the recon and one for the bipartisan, are trying to derail it, and what's new this Saturday as their efforts to get it done or to block it. There's a lot breaking news all this Saturday and Sunday, so stay with me across the board because these fractions are trying to unravel the packages before they even start. Then we cut to Nancy Pelosi, the president, and Lalate all making the big push to get this done quicker rather than later. It's breaking this Saturday morning. And then we cut to fifth stimulus is raising your benefits up lifetime, and then the big money that viewers continue to get. As markets over $50,000, and then a new viewer gets over $100,000 from this channel. It's a big day and it's a big early morning. I'm going to go over all the incredible details, and the deliciousness starts right now. As the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and I'm here, you're here on Early Mornings Lalate. Doing? Hope you're having a beautiful early morning this Saturday morning. There's so much breaking news across the board, so I'm glad you're joining me. Stay with me all weekend long, not a weekend to cash out and come back on Monday and say what I miss, because you will have a long time catching up because there's too much breaking news across the board. And guess what I got for you in this recording? But first, how's the weather where you are? It's miserable here. After 5 days of me saying, it's paradise, and now it's miserable. Oh, goodness, it's too hot, it's too muggy, it's just everything it shouldn't be. But hope the weather's better where you are. Jump to the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In this forced stimulus check update of 2021, so much breaking news. We're going to go over that monthly stimulus check and why you're likely to get more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks that come to the American people under the forced stimulus recon. These are checks for you, checks for seniors, and checks for workers. I have all the details. Then we cut to the two-path process. What's next? Will the voting happen earlier than we initially thought? Yes. And is there a fraction trying to derail both of the legislation? Yes. That's not particularly good news. But the good news is Nancy Pelosi, Chuck, Bernie, and Lalate, the president, are all trying to get this done without that fraction involved. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raise your benefits up if you're on SSI and SSDI, just a few days away from this starting because September. And then we cut to the big money across the board as viewers continue to get big, huge sums of money. As one viewer got $50,000 from this channel. But if you thought that was where we're ending, it isn't. As another viewer gets over $105,000 from this channel. And this is Lalate, America's only 24-hour a day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto. This video will automatically take you there. You don't have to lift a finger, sort of like your congressional leaders. And then Mornings Lalate live on air at 9 a.m. I look forward to seeing you then. Noontime at 11 a.m. and Mornings Crypto at 9:30. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video. 3,000 likes. Every like helps, and consider becoming a member. Let's cut to that monthly stimulus check reverse right now. Senate versus House. House versus Senate. Different number of checks and different amount of checks. Let's go over all the details starting right now. House provides a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. Senate is July to December. Let's go over the payouts. $1,000 a month after the first month. House. Senate monthly unknown, but word on the street is it's this deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $1,200, $12,000, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Let's keep the families of Broward County teachers in our prayers, as that crazy wacko of a faux governor, DeSantis in Florida, had horrible rules and regulations about how schools are operated in Florida, and within 24 hours, nearly a half dozen teachers died of COVID this week. Really awful. That means that the House bill would continue to pay the pandemic plus 1 year because the pandemic ain't over. That means that would be more than 12 checks, and the amounts would be more than $13,000. Compare that to this in the Senate. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. House or Senate, and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather this Saturday morning. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? You do. Democrats represent that if you got a fourth, you're getting a third, you're getting a fourth. A single individual, $75,000 less. Democrats represent you get a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 less. Democrats represent you get a fourth stimulus check, double it. Family of four, Democrats represent you get a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, Democrats represent you get a fourth stimulus check as well. The fourth stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. And the fourth stimulus check will be the same amount for adult dependents and everyone else. And the fourth stimulus check is not a waivable check. So if you have a YouTube channel of your own and you're on the beach and a viewer tells you, hey, is that the check waved to you this weekend? Don't wave at the check. It's a trick. It's sort of like Jaws. He's out there. So is the check. Don't wave at him. He'll know. He won't wave back. It will be a rude check and not a waivable check. In the second part of this video, we go over the recon. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. This is the biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel. I'll explain those checks, explain the details, and everything you need to know. Then we cut to the two-path process, recon and bipartisan. The incredible details are getting a new twist this weekend as two fractions are trying to derail both recon and bipartisan, because remember, the president says I have to have both on my table, not one. So you need to have both passed. Well, we're going to go over that later in this video. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, was raising your benefits up a lifetime. But first, let's get some money. Get a pen and paper ready. I'm going to get you some money for rent, some money for utilities, and some money for SNAP. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Well, I'm going to show you how you get these big sums of money, because this is money that was available for you under third stimulus, and it's still there. When I first started recording these videos, I said I can get you $5,000 of rent, 46 months of rent. $5,000? I just undervalued it just a little bit. How much are viewers getting? $27,000. Purple Hawks, members of this channel, are getting upwards of $27,000, like Elizabeth. Mark getting $25,000. Nancy getting $24,000 for rent. Richard, $22,000. And Nisi, $20,000. When we talk about utilities, I said I could get you $300 for utilities. Then the numbers came in. Are you ready for this? Bam. Wow. $7,000 for utilities for Nancy. $6,500 for utilities from Mark. $65,000 for utilities for Angela. When we talk about SNAP, which is money for food, are you ready for the big numbers? It ain't $5,000. It ain't $6,000. It ain't even... it ain't even $6,500. Are you ready? Bam! Oh my goodness, Louie, $18,000 for SNAP. Unreal, incredible. John, $10,000 to $12,000 for SNAP he got, and Nancy, $10,000 to $12,000. And then the numbers came in for people that got other items. If you got other items, send me private messages on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I will feature them on air. These are the details coming in. Pamela reports to me she got $12,000 for rent. Carla reports to me she got $1,700 for utilities and other items. Tiffany got $13,000 for rent and SNAP, and she also got some SNAP and some utilities. Randy got $6,000 for rent and some utilities. Jennifer got $5,000 for rent and some utilities. Celia got $1,200 for HEAP. And Gonzalez from California got $8,000 for rent. Great job, Gonzalez. So, are you ready for the big numbers? Are you ready for the big numbers? People who got 3 items? OMG, bam. Congratulations, Nancy got in 3 items. Rent, utilities, and SNAP, $32,000. Nisi getting 3 items, $23,000. And Mark getting 2 items and $32,000. 2 items? That's what I said for 7 days on camera. I said 2 items. What's with the 2 items, Mark? Being facetiously. Just 2 items? Did you not watch my videos? I said, Mark, go get SNAP. SNAP is the easiest thing in the world. It's a SNAP. That's why it's called SNAP. And go get it. I said maybe, $8,000, because I love the number 40,000. Don't you love that number? It just has a beautiful roll off your tongue, 40,000. I said, Mark, go get $8,000 of SNAP. But, I thought back in my mind, maybe he'll get $5,000, maybe he'll get $6,000 for SNAP, which would be great. That would be, $35,000, $37,000. Well, he didn't get 5 for 6,000. He didn't get 8,000. He got a lot more. How much more did Mark get on Snap? He got $19,000, bringing his grand total for Mark to $50,500. And this is Lalate. Boy, we've been doing this since day one. I've been getting big numbers across the board, and we continue to get big numbers. This channel launched in the spring of last year when people's EIDL grants and EIDL loans that they applied for was stuck what I call the vortex of 330, the vortex of 48. No one was helping get their applications approved, so I stepped in and got their applications approved, making videos on camera with specific applications in mind, answering their questions, and off camera, helping them on their applications and private messages, and with the volunteers. Slowly and quickly, we were doing 10 approvals of $150,000 a pop a day. $25 million of EIDL loans I got approved. Then in fall of 2020, second stimulus was not coming. No $600 stimulus check yet. So I stepped forward and got viewers $250,000 rent. Viewers like Tyrone and his family out of Boston got all their rent paid for 6 months, $14,000. But now we're doing it bigger and bolder than ever before because of you, the Purple Hawks, because of you, the viewers. Viewers have now seen bigger sums of money. And if you thought that Mark at $50,000 or $50,500 was the ceiling, it isn't. Here you go. The biggest payout we've ever seen of this channel for rent, utilities, and Snap is Lorraine at $105,000. Here you go. She got $57,600 for food. She got $6,000 for food. She got $1,000 for another item. She got $90,000 for rent. Some of these items are over several years. So the rent is over over several years. And it's not for just 1 year of food or 1 year of rent, but it's money. It's vouchers. It's incredible, incredible sums of money. And this is what we do on this channel. So get in pen and paper ready because I want you to get this money right now. We're going to start with some money for rent. And here you go. But first, I want to go over some introductory remarks. First, I'm going to show you different places to reach out to. Each has different eligibility, number one. Number two, if you reach out to one and one says no, reach out to the next because they have their own eligibility. Number three, they also have their own pots of money. Number four, every state pays money. Every state pays money. There's no state that doesn't pay any money. If you had a problem where you're finding stuff in your state, keep on pushing. I had yesterday on Early Mornings LA, one viewer was from Mississippi, said I can't find anything. 3 viewers were in the live chat and said, I'm from Mississippi, I got money, and I love it because they helped that viewer. They didn't just say, I got it. They said, I got it here, you can go get it there. Finally, keep on pushing and use the keywords that I mentioned in this video. Viewers say it really helps them get approved. Are you ready? Here we go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority. Your county hall, your county housing authority. Your state hall, your state housing authority. Those 6 places. And the keywords are going to say are rent assistance because of COVID or a mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Chuck's July 4th deadline. Yeah, we remember that. They may not remember that. So there you go. If you got money for rent and utilities, post in the live chat. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got as well. Let's turn to some Snap. Snap is money for food. Snap you get from Department of Agriculture. Snap is really easy to get. The eligibility is easier than a third stimulus check. Why would you not get it? Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it as well. And Louie got $18,000. Mark, $19,000. John, $10,000 to $12,000. So get some Snap. How much does it pay? A lot. A family of 4 out of Hawaii pays upwards of $16,000 a year. Gets paid up to $16,000 a year. Why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders. One from Biden, one from Trump that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. And if you got Snap, post in the live chat. Well, we're killing it. We're only 14 minutes in this video, and we got money for rent, it's $27,000. Some utilities, $9,000. Some Snap, $19,000. We're just getting started. Time to get some money coming back from your state due to overpayment on unemployment benefits and computer error. Where's the landing? Direct deposit. Can you track it? Yeah, contact your state. Say, hi, state, where's that check due to overpayment and computer error? And can you track it with a computer that's actually turned on this time? It sort of helps. And then finally, the refund check coming back from IRS or that 2020 unemployment benefits. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. And guess what? It's a waivable check. Sorry, Mitch. Sorry to scare you there. It's really a waivable check. New wave comes every week. Direct deposit and mail check. Average payout is somewhere between $1,200 and more. Mark got $1,400 for it. Now, here's a personal message. If you're in the live chat and you've not posted your success stories for rent, utilities, and food, please do. Because the spirit of this channel is me helping you and you helping others. And when you do, you inspire other people. 3 wonderful things happen when you post your success stories, whether you got $100 or $10 or more. Number 1, you inspire people to get these monies. Because people may have never thought or never even realized that the federal government pays for rent until they found me and this channel. Next, a lot of people have a lot of utilities and they never consider having their utilities paid by the government. SNAP, a lot of people have never heard of SNAP until they find me. Larry Maui out of Miami, never heard of SNAP, got over $500 a month, single individuals for SNAP. Just incredible, great news. Number 2, you inspire each other. So when you get 3 items, you inspire other people who got 1 item to get 2 more. So Art Sullivan and Nisi got 3 items. They inspired Nancy. And then Mark got 2, and I inspired him. And finally, we get a big update about the numbers. The more you give us updates about the numbers, the more we learn about how much these are paying. All right, let's go back to those unemployment benefits. When are they landing? Direct deposit and otherwise in the mail. Can you track it? Yeah, go to iris.gov and do a transcript search. And 70% of the time it works. It'll reveal the tax return you filed and the taxes you paid. And then it'll reveal stuff you wish you'd never seen. Like when Mitch McConnell was on Star Search as a spokesperson, did he always say, I'm not calling that for a vote? He just came out. Yeah, I could just see him saying that. And McMahon's like, what did you say, Mitch? I'm not calling that for a vote. That's my line as spokesperson. I can just see that happening. And can we top that? Yes, we'll also reveal the refund check coming back from IRS. As we go into the second part of the fourth stimulus check update of 2021, starting right now. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. This is incredible great news because the recon is just checks for you. Let's go back. We've had 1, 2, 3 stimulus packages, and there have been a lot of stimulus packages over the years. The previous ones, the 1, 2, and 3, were about this big. And guess how much of the money was for you? This much, because 90% of it at least was for corporate America, corporations. Well, this stimulus package is about this big, and it's 900% practically for checks to the American people, seniors, workers, all types of checks. It's a behemoth, and there's a lot of room to put a stimulus check in there. How did they achieve this? Because originally the recon had roads and bridges in there. They took the roads and bridges out, put it into something called the bipartisan, making your recon now passable. The confirmation comes from a conservative publication who confirms my reporting that says that originally the higher the price tag was on the top line for the recon, the harder it was to pass. There you go. But by allowing the Democrats to take out spending from the recon, roads and bridges put in the bipartisan, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller. There you go. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. Well, they both made each other passable. And they both passed now the U.S. Senate. So here's what you're going to learn for the first time on Early Mornings Lalate is that the $3.5 trillion price tag was not something come up in a vacuum by just senators. It was senators and House Democrats, progressives, who met with the White House daily to ensure they got a big enough number they wanted, and they got that, $3.5 trillion. So when this lands in the House, it's not a surprise the number. They already agreed to this number a long time ago. Representative Richie Torres said we have to have a big enough, large enough recon. You got it, Richie, $3.5 trillion, passed. And Representative Ilhan Omar says we have to have a recon that goes as far as we want it. You got it, passed, $3.5 trillion. How do they do this? By protecting the recon. The White House told the progressives, protect my recon, because everything in the recon is checks for the American people and progressive priorities, my priorities. Brian Schatz and Jalpal confirmed the comments from the president. Quote, the White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon their own priorities. So what is a recon? What is a bipartisan? What is a recon procedural? What is a recon substantive? Let me go over all the details, starting with you right now. About 2 days ago, someone was in the live chat and said, I went online and I read the infrastructure bill and there was no money in there for me. What's going on, LA? What's going on is you read the wrong piece of legislation. Infrastructure is not us. That's the bipartisan. So let's go over the terminology so you know which one is which and where different things land. First, we have 2 terms which I use on this channel. 2 easy terms, recon and bipartisan. Those are pretty simple. Your money is recon. Bipartisan is not your money. But elsewhere, they use a lot of other confusing terms. So let's go over them and make them easy breezy to follow. Recon is also called reconciliation, also called the budget bill, also called the spending plan, also called the Progressive Welfare Plan. Bipartisan is also called roads and bridges or infrastructure. Price tag on the recon, $3.5 trillion. Your money. People quote an article about it, like an AOC of Bernie. Bipartisan, smaller, $1.5 trillion. People quote an article about it, like a Kristen Sinema, Ron Portman, or Mitt Romney. There's actually two recons: recon procedural, which we're doing right now, then recon substantive, which comes after recon, when recon procedural is passed, and then we have bipartisan. So let's go over the difference between recon procedural and recon substantive. Recon procedural really says much of nothing. It only asks two questions. Do you agree at a later date to do a bill that'll have a total price tag of $3.5 trillion? I do. And then do you agree that in that bill, the $3.5 trillion will be split among committees, like $10 for this committee, $20 for that committee? I do. And that's all it asks. It only asks the total price tag of a future bill and says that the committees will be dedicated $10 here, $20 here, there in the U.S. government. That's all it says. And that's what passed the U.S. Senate this week. Recon procedural, now heading to the House. So what's recon substantive? Recon substantive happens after recon procedurals pass. After recon procedurals pass, and let's say a committee gets $10, then they write their part of the recon substantive, which says how that committee is to spend the $10. Who are they spending the money on? How are they spending? When are they spending it? What are the provisions? Pretty easy. So who writes a recon substantive bill? Well, it hasn't been written yet, but the people who write it are the subcommittee members of the House subcommittees. And those House subcommittees are delegated different subject matters under the Constitution. For example, House Ways and Means Subcommittee is responsible for writing about stimulus checks, unemployment benefits. When each of those subcommittees are done writing, they combine their pages and send them up to Chuck. Let's say it's 10 pages from 10 subcommittees and 100 pages, he puts a big S on it. For so slow. For Schumer. No, for Senate. But you're going to see later in this video that maybe it's going to get an H on it. For what? Her? Yeah, for a House, because it may start on the House side. Wow. How do we get to this spot? We got this spot from Jalpal, who recently wrote Schumer a letter saying Chuck called the vote on the recon. Well, he did, and the recon got passed. The letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, part of 100-plus House Democrats who recently wrote the president a letter saying we're going to be putting monthly fourth stimulus checks in that fourth stimulus recon substantive when we write it. Purple power, you got to keep these people their promise. Can we top that? Yes. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Subcommittee recently wrote the president a letter that when they write the fourth stimulus recon, same subcommittee we just went over? Yeah. When they write it, which they're doing right now, they vow to put monthly fourth stimulus checks in there. Whoa, Purple Power, you got to keep these people their promise. They're writing it now, and they promise that it's going to be in there. Push, Purple Power, push. Can we top that? Yes. As the President of the United States did it. Biden did it. He went overseas 7 weeks ago to sign a ceremonial signature, but the real one was a few days ago. It's for the global minimum corporate tax rate minimum. And while that's exhausting to say, it's great news because the exhausting thing is not in the recon. Number one, it makes it easier to write the recon. Number two, it makes it easier to call the vote on the recon. Vote on the recon and pass the recon because this confusing thing is not in there. And can we top that? We can. As we go into the final 15 minutes of this video, boy, a lot of breaking news. One group led by Ro Khanna is trying to stop the roads and bridges infrastructure bipartisan from passing. That's not good for us because the president says I have to have that to pass the recon. And on the other side, a group of Democrats led by Representative Josh of New Jersey is trying to block the recon from passing. Oh boy. Have they met Nancy Pelosi yet? Yeah, they do not stand a chance. I'm going to explain to you what Nancy's doing, the president's doing, what Jalapal's doing in the final 15 minutes of this video. We'll go over new dates that are a little bit earlier than initially thought, and I'll get a return of a familiar face and a personal message as well. But first, if you need help with rent, utilities, food, or internet, don't worry. Reach out to the volunteers. They are dependable and wonderful. How do you find them? Go to the description of this video. Go down the description and click the link to the community page. It's news.lalate.com/community. They'll help you get these big sums of money for rent, utilities, food, and internet, and more. And I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as early mornings, LA continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. The toast is toast and the butter is butter, and I'm here, you're here, and the excitement's continuing on Early Mornings Lalate today. I told you this weekend's going to have a lot of dramatics, so you cannot cash out and come back on Monday because you're going to miss it all. So stay with me all weekend long. I'll be recording on air. I'll be live with you on Saturday and Sunday, so come on. Here we go. Away we go. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto right after this video. It'll take you automatically there. Then at 9 o'clock, I'm back with you live with the breaking news on Mornings LA. At 9:45 is Mornings Crypto, as crypto is going through the moon, going to the moon and going through the roof. It is absolutely on fire. I'm going to show you all the details of what's happening. Then at noontime, I'm back with you with the breaking financial news and the latest on the fourth stimulus. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button. Like the video. 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's cut into that breaking, developing details about that inflationary rate and what that impacts on fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus is what the president promised you during the campaign trail, but did not deliver it after he got elected. Now the House and Senate Democrats are vowing to take care of it for you in just days from now. What's happening? It's fifth stimulus. When does fifth stimulus start? It starts in September. Starts legislating. And this is that SSI and SSDI reform. The benchmark will be applied in December for next year. Let's go over all the details you need to know. First, they'll raise your benefit limits up. Then they'll remove the asset limit, add inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over how this works starting right now. For who? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple beneficiaries. First step, they'll raise your benefits up lifetime. Next, they'll remove the then they'll apply a benchmark. When will they apply that benchmark? In December. What is the benchmark? Inflation. And where's inflation going? It's going to be transitory. Transitory is a fancy word to say that it's going to spike and then come back down. How high is that transitory spike going to be? I'm reporting it's going to be about 5%. Yes, about 5%. So let's go over the analysis. First, they'll raise your benefits up, then they'll apply the benchmark. If the benchmark is 5%, that means your benefits will step up another 5%, not just next year, lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. Then they're going to move the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. You can't stay on benefits and also have more than $3,000 in hand. They're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960 law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to do a pair dance at your own wedding. The marriage penalty will be ending, and you'll no longer be penalized, and your benefits will be restored. And there you go. That's fifth stimulus. But boy, will there be a fifth stimulus check? There will. Those House subcommittee members represent. And finally, if you're on the live chat and you do not have a purple hawk next to your name, an emoji, what are you doing? You need to join right now. Purple hawks are getting big sums of money, 5, 10, 15, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, because they realize that under these stimulus packages, there are far more money in them than just a stimulus check. They understand to pounce, and they understand all the details that I've been detailing since January. It actually started last year because last year there was a $600 stimulus check in December. I said, don't be focused on that, folks. Focus on the $6,000 I can get you on the second stimulus. And they pounced and got it. Tyrone and his family, 4 out of Boston, got $15,000. Since January, when the Purple Hawks have been launched, I've been delivering to you daily a breakdown of all the big money that's available under second, third stimulus, and propose for fourth and fifth for you to get. And that's what happened after that. I said, don't focus on a $14 stimulus check in January for third stimulus because I can get you $14,000 from the third stimulus package. Now you see viewers getting $100,000 from this package, $50,000, $25,000, $27,000, $32,000 routinely. So consider becoming a Purple Hawk. The link's under the video where it says join here so that all this information is delivered to you daily from the YouTube community page written by me. Meantime, if you're watching this channel and you realize, wait a second, this is eye-opening, this is what's going on. There's a difference between financial dependence and financial independence, and that's what the federal government recognizes with you. The federal government understands that you have maybe 7 bills: water, gas, heating oil, rent, mortgage, and then you have the car in the driveway that needs fixing and some shoes for the grandkids you need to buy. Well, the federal government ain't going to pay for the shoes, ain't going to fix the car in the driveway whatsoever. But the federal government will certainly pay for the first 5 items usually. And if they're going to pay for your rent, utilities, food, or internet and mortgage, then let them do it. And they're going to pay it for 6 months or 7 months or 8 months or 9 years, you saw with that viewer, or several years. Let them do it, because when they do it, it creates financial independence for you. You're no longer dependent upon paying those bills. Those bills are freed up from the liabilities of the debts you have to pay on a regular basis, a monthly basis. And now the cash you would have had to spend to pay those bills will stay where it is in the bank. And you'll have extra cash on hand to pay for the shoes and to pay for that car. That's how financial independence works. And as this channel expands in the next few days, get ready for more programming so you learn how to be financially independent, not financially dependent upon one event. And as we go into fourth stimulus, the final 15 starts right now as we go into the big news across the board. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people under the fourth stimulus recon. Let me go over first the recon itself. The recon procedural passed on the U.S. Senate this side. Next stop is the U.S. House. The recon is just how much and for what committees. Ironically, the House is already involved with the how much at the very beginning, so this is not a surprise. They're likely to pass this in a blink of the eye. But Nancy Pelosi is aware of certain fractions trying to cause issues. So the president herself and Jalapal have all spoke about this issue. First, the president says that he's not signing one bill. He has to have 2 bodies of law on his desk ready to sign. As the bipartisan, if that's the only thing that comes to me, and that's the only thing that comes to me, I'm not signing it, says the president. The bipartisan, I'm not doing that and just forgetting about what else I propose, the recon. I propose another piece of legislation. That's the recon. Then Nancy initially told viewers the following: there won't be a bipartisan unless we have a recon. Plain and simple. In fact, I say there won't be an ain't. There ain't going to be a bipartisan unless we author out the recon. Jalapal also said that the House Democrats are not going to vote in favor of the bipartisan unless they also have the recon. So Nancy Pelosi, meantime, clarified her message going into the weekend, saying, this is just not me. This is everyone. I'm not freelancing. She says, this is the consensus of the Democrat caucus. The votes in the House and the Senate depend on having both bills. All right, so it's important you understand her comments and Jalapal's, because what happened going into the weekend? What happened going into the weekend was the following. Nancy Pelosi has a majority in the House for Democrats, but not a huge majority, not 20, 30, 40 people, just less than a dozen. Well, more than the people that she has the majority for, I don't remember what it is, I think 4 or 5, 9, I think it was 8 or 9 people wrote her a letter saying they're not supporting the recon. Really? You're really trying that? So who led them? Representative Josh from New Jersey. Oh, that darn guy again? He comes around on this channel every 3 weeks. He's sort of like, he's sort of like $12 ice cream that went out of style. He just keeps on coming around. Who's Representative Josh? He's that guy from the Problem Creators last year. Nancy can't stand him. I don't like him. And guess what? He's never done anything for anyone except himself, getting himself on broadcast media. Second stimulus, he didn't want to give you a stimulus check. Third stimulus, he didn't want to give you a third stimulus check. He doesn't want to give anything to anyone. I mean, he's basically Mr. No. I mean, what? And he's a Democrat? Really? You sure you aren't related to Mitch? And so he's back saying, no, 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 no. But every time he does this, He gets himself on 20 news stations, and then when the vote comes, he votes in favor of it. You just need to stop. Now, on the other side, really surprising one, is Ro Khanna, also Democrat, but a different piece of legislation, the roads and bridges. He has a group that's trying to block that as well. Why? He doesn't like a road or a bridge? No, he's from Silicon Valley area, and they don't like in the House the crypto regulation, which Kristen Sinema put in the Senate, and it passed. Remember, the House is a lot more progressive, and they like crypto a lot in the House. They don't like this crypto regulation provision. So there's a whole group trying to derail the roads and bridges if they don't get the crypto out. Wow, this is fascinating. So remember, they have to pass the crypto, they have to pass the roads and bridges and the and the recon. They can't just do one because the president won't sign off on one. Now let's go back over to some dates. We have some new dates revealed, and the dates are a little bit earlier than initially thought. So let's go over some of those dates starting right now. We're going to see some proposed dates that have an asterisk and some firm dates. So 8/23, firm date confirmed by Steny Hoyer, Democrat House, that the recon procedure will go to a vote in the House. Recon procedure will go to a firm vote date on August 23rd in the House. On September 15th, Schumer gives us a firm date that the recon substantive will go to a vote. But now we're hearing that it may start in the House, not in the Senate, where we originally thought. I love it in the House. First, the House subcommittee is writing it. Second, the House members always give you more money than the Senate. Third, the House members are very progressive. And four, I just preferred starting on the House side. Then finally, a proposed date of 9/30. That's why there's an asterisk there. It's just proposed that the recon get done by a final vote by 9/30. All right, let's now go to recon substantive. Once recon procedural is done, then we do the recon substantive. So how are the committees going to spend the money? So this is where you have to push Purple Power, because remember, the key issue is that, one, that they get this whole thing done, and two, that they get it done the right way. They have to make sure they put the money in there the right way. These members of these House subcommittees have already represented, they're giving you monthly stimulus checks, so you got to push. Moreover, the legislation is enormous. It's $3.5 trillion. It's so much money. It would be unexcusable if there was no stimulus check in there, because the prior stimulus packages were this small. This is this big, and the prior stimulus packages were 90% for corporate America. This is all for the American people. It would be shameful if there was no stimulus check in there. So you have to push Purple Power. Now, everything in there is checks to the American people. All we have is guidance so far. Here are some of the items of guidance that they're putting in there. Free school meals for all checks, tax break checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, immigration reform checks, green farming checks, election checks, internet checks. Then lots of checks for seniors and workers. Worker checks, independent contractor checks, collective bargaining, and then seniors checks, lowering the eligibility age, dental checks, vision checks, and hearing care checks. And there you go. So now let's go to a familiar face back in the mix. That's Seats for Stimulus. Seats for Stimulus was a social media campaign which I launched last year, which basically said, give us second stimulus or we're taking your congressional seat. And it worked. Well, I brought Seats for Stimulus back. Tweet it across the board. Spelled exactly that way. SEATS, the number 4, stimulus, all together with the hashtag in front of it. And it works because guess what? Look how many House seats are up for grabs in November, just a few weeks away. This legislation is critical to these people winning or losing their seats, and 6 seats could change the balance of the House. So Seats for Stimulus absolutely should be part of your Twitter campaign. Then Senate seats next year, nearly 40% of the Senate seats are up for grabs. Finally, a personal message. You've been doing a great job. I really appreciate the renewed energy, renewed optimism, and excitement among viewers. I know we started this week we started the month with Chuck Schumer saying going to do it by July 4th, and Nancy and AOC and Bernie, and not doing it by July 4th. Then they said by the August recess, the whole thing would become law. And all they did was the recon procedural, which is the easiest part by August 4th, by the August recess. I got that. And you've been doing a great job of keeping it positive, keeping it focused, helping each other. On the other hand, now and then there's some people with a fake positive. What's a fake positive? Sometimes I've seen people, very rarely, 2 and 3 here, where they look at this graphic and they see the graphic says vote. This is about the voting dates. And they see the 9/30, which I said is a proposed date. And they say, oh, so I'm getting a check in my hand on 9/30. No, it's a vote graphic. This is not the date you're receiving a check. So I want you to stay positive. I want you to stay focused. I want you to keep on pushing. But don't create an alternate universe where you take the recordings and then sort of presume new facts that haven't been said. There's no check arriving on 9:30. That's a vote. And so I want you to stay positive. I want you to stay focused. I want you to stay informed. And I want you to push. Here's what you need to know, is that for every representative Josh and for every representative Rukana, there's always another person who may try to blow up the recon or blow up the bipartisan. If there is no recon, then none of the 3.5 trillion ever happens. If there's no bipartisan, there's no roads and bridges, then there is never a penny for the 3.5 trillion. You have to ensure that everything is passed. Then you have to ensure that everything has the right language in there. So as a result, Purple Power, push and make sure these people pass the legislation and make sure these people pass the legislation the right way. And that's Seats for Stimulus. Meantime, stay on this video. It'll automatically take you to Overnight's Crypto, currently playing on the air. You don't have to lift a finger, sort of like Chuck Schumer. And then I'll see you at 9 a.m. live on air as mornings Lalate heats up. Then afternoons Lalate, then noontime Lalate at 11 a.m. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful morning. The toast is toast and the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and deliciousness is across the board. Have a beautiful morning. Hopefully the weather improves for all of us. And stay with Lalate.